You know, the funny thing is some people do not hurt you because they were confused. They hurt you while fully aware of their actions. And this is the painful part of it all. Because their actions were avoidable. They saw your loyalty, they saw your efforts, they saw how you stayed, you forgave, you understood with them, you were dedicated, you were committed, and you were very consistent. They saw the moment you gave them every reason to believe in your love, and yet they still choose to hurt your feelings. They knew your intentions were genuine. They knew all you did was love them. Sometimes we believe that people we truly care for are incapable of hurting our feelings, but that's where the mistake comes in. Because sometimes someone might love you in return, but still hurt you as a result of their emotional instability, emotional immaturity, their inconsistencies, their insecurity, and the fact that most of them are not ready to settle. And when they find themselves being loved genuinely, they are incapable of handling such situations. When you find yourself in situations like this, you should know that people change. Now, because betrayals from strangers hurts differently from betrayals from people who have watched you love them sincerely, the deepest wound comes from having to be hurt by people who have known you all along, who knows your very vulnerability, people who have seen your openness. People think because you're calm and collected, nothing would come out of them going away with the things they did to you. They feel you always be there. They feel you always understand. You always, be there to forgive them. They think because you understood them, you would continue to stay. They think because you are patient, that patience would last forever. They think because you are understanding, there's nothing is ever going to come in to distract or, take away that understanding from them. But eventually, it gets to a point where you are tired of their excuse, you are tired of their inconsistency, you're tired of crying in silence while pretending to be fine. Tired of giving them chances over chances, but they keep messing those chances. Then one day something changes. You start thinking of yourself. You stop trying to convince people to see how you feel about them. You stop begging for their attention. You stop thinking yourself to be, to be inferior, because that's what it makes. When you consistently love someone and they keep on hurting you, at some time you begin to question your self-esteem. Not because you stop loving them, but because you start to feel like, am I incapable of being loved? You start to feel some type of way, like you are inferior to them. And this is the part of the things you never expected. They expected you to stay forever. They expect you to always be there, to be the understanding person while they go about their reckless behavior. They expect you to always be there emotionally. They expect you to always give your heart commitment. But when you require the same thing from them, it's something they battle to give. Now, but healing teaches us something. Healing teaches you how to appreciate yourself. It teaches you how to be emotionally mature. It teaches you how to understand the fact that people would always be people and people are not perfect. It teaches you to build your world around your feelings, knowing that no matter how much you sincerely love people, they might wake up one day and decide to do as they please at the expense of your feeling. Now, another thing feelings will teach you is once someone realizes their worth, they no longer renege on the journey of becoming a better version of themselves. They no longer renege on the journey of being aware of the fact that they are enough and should not be taken for granted. The real thing is many people only recognize genuine love when they've actually lost these feelings. And it takes them moving on, or it takes some moment of silence or some separation for people to realize that not all the things they took for granted are rare. Some of those things they took for granted are not things they could come by easily. One day the call stops, the messages become shorter, the energy changes. You're no longer there to nurse that their feelings of being, overly, overly attaching. You no longer nurse that feeling of them feeling like you will always be there whenever they need you emotionally while they go about their normal life. Not out of revenge, not out of frustration, but just because you choose sanity. You can only pour love into a space that you are appreciated and loved. Some people will watch you cry, watch you hurt, but yet continue to hurt you. Not because they are doing it intentionally, but because they don't have that emotional maturity to handle real love properly. This has nothing to do with your words, because sometimes falling in love could make you vulnerable to people. Someone failing to value you does not mean you are worthless. A person can stand in front of gold and still not know its value. Never allow someone inability to show you genuine love make you feel ordinary in some type of way. Never let somebody inability to love you correctly make you feel worthless. You were simply loving someone who was not ready to commit, who was not ready to handle the depth of the love you brought to the table. And this could actually affect you in some type of way. So take a break, because love is powerful, but love without reciprocity, becomes emotional suffering. At some point, protecting your peace should be what you should be concerned about. So if you're healing from someone who knew exactly how they treated you, who knew exactly what you brought to the table, who took your love for granted, you should know that your kindness was not stupidity, your loyalty was not weakness, your loving was not at a fault. It was because you wanted it to be real. But they're not realizing it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with how unstable they are. So heal properly and put yourself in a position where you don't have to question what people brings to the table, because not everybody would give you the kind of love you so deserve, but your love should be appreciated. Be in a space where people appreciate the love you bring in, the love you give to them, not people that would take your feelings for granted, not because someone has to teach them how to love you. Love is rare. Loyal heart is rare. Commitment is rare. In a world where people go about their daily lives as if nothing matters to them, finding someone to commit to is actually a scarce thing. So when you are committed to someone and the person takes your love for granted, it's better for you to leave than for you to stay in a place where you are not truly valued. Do not let heartbreak turn you into a bitter person, because the right person will never make you feel hurt. The right person will never make you feel ashamed. The right person will never restrict access to themselves. The right person will protect your heart and will love you sincerely. Until then, continue healing, continue growing, continue being yourself, continue choosing yourself, because losing someone who took you for granted is not your loss. It's actually their own loss. In the course of healing, do certain things that make you happy. Hang out with good people. Express yourself. Heal completely and be the best version of yourself.